Before we begin the story, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the story, everyone. You're late, and you have lipstick on your tooth. The sentence hits the air like a whip. Sophia Bennett freezes in the middle of the glass-walled room, skirt crooked, resume crumpled, and coffee about to spill. Outside, Chicago looks like a steel model. Inside, dead silence. At the head of the table, Ethan Caldwell, CEO of Caldwell & Thorne, flawless suit, stone-faced expression, reputation, a block of ice, wearing a tie. Sophia takes a breath, wipes the lipstick with her pinky as gracefully as a fender bender, and smiles. "I'm here, sir. The traffic, you know." She holds up the crumpled resume. "But I brought my best skill, survival." The air tightens. Lena, the assistant, tries to warn her with her eyes. "Don't joke." Ethan points to his watch. The interview started at 9. 9:23 isn't traffic. It's disorganization or courage. She tugs at her skirt with no success. "I came anyway." A muscle twitches in his jaw. It's not a smile. "Sit down if you can." She sits. The chair slips. The coffee nearly spills. But Sophia catches it in time. "Motor coordination in progress," she comments. Ethan ignores her. He clasps his hands. "Why do you want to be my secretary?" "Secretary is a small word for such a big fire," she replies, leaning on the table and ignoring Lena's horrified look. "But I learn fast and I stay calm most of the time." Apparently, he studies the resume, experience, hotel front desk, bookstore cashier, event assistant, part-time barista, an official life organizer for my friends. Didn't fit on the PDF. Education, business administration, incomplete. Ran out of money, not motivation. References, plenty, some even still talk to me. Lena swallows hard. Sophia notices and adjusts. "Mr. Caldwell, I know I'm not this desk." She points to the spotless surface. "But I'm useful. Not that the desk isn't. Actually, the desk is lovely." Compliments. An analyst stifles a laugh. Ethan closes the resume. At Caldwell & Thorne, punctuality means respect. Details are a requirement. When the phone rings, it's to solve problems, not chat. "Can you keep up?" "Yes. I mean, no, but I run faster than I fall." He raises an eyebrow. "And you need someone who runs." "I did my research." "You research me?" "Public events, news articles, neighbors. You never miss numbers, but you do miss people." The room gets colder. "Who said that?" "The internet, and the receptionist next door." "She's honest." "Interesting." He rests his chin on his hand. "Then why did someone who runs faster than she falls arrive 23 minutes late?" "Because the subway stalled, the elevator jammed, and I kept going. Climbed the last 8 floors by stairs and still stopped to fix the lipstick on my tooth." "Poor prioritization, I admit." For a moment, the corner of his mouth almost moves. "Take a test." "My inbox now." Lena opens the laptop for Sophia like she's handing a Stradivarius violin to a cat. Sophia breathes in a wall of urgent emails. She types, "Will reply at 11 a.m. Rescheduled to Tuesday. Checklist attached." In minutes, chaos becomes order. "That's just the basics," he says. "It is, and no one did it." Ethan shuts the laptop. "Name 3 flaws." "I talk too much when I'm nervous. I try to fix things, no one asked me to. And I trust gravity too much." "Strengths?" "I finish what I start. I learn fast. And I'm not afraid of your silence." The boldness echoes. Practically a sport in this room. Ethan leans back, weighing every word. "No one lasts a month with me. They say you're like winter with Wi-Fi." Sophia risks. "Classy." He tilts his head. "Why should I hire you?" "Because perfect people ignore what's about to fall. I notice." Silence. "Then, you're hired," he says. Lena coughs. "Sir, on a trial basis. 2 weeks. No tolerance for tardiness. No improvising in meetings. No yokes." And Bennett. "Yes, change the lipstick." "Noted." She shakes his hand, pure ice with a half-smile that aims for professional but fails beautifully. "Start today." "Today, as in right now? Is there another today besides now?" "Fair point." In the hallway, Lena whispers, "Welcome to the betting pool." "Betting pool? We bet how long you'll last. Your average is 3 days. Can I bet on myself?" "I wouldn't recommend it." Down the hall, curious eyes appear and vanish. The whole office is watching. Slack vibrates. New secretary chaos. She arrived late and is still alive. Sophia sits at the white desk outside his door, opens her notebook. Survival plan. Day 1. Underneath a list. Beat the clock. Don't trip over cables. Learn the language of ice. Find out why no one lasts a month. The phone rings. Mr. Caldwell's desk. Sophia speaking. His voice. Reschedule my meeting. And no cheerfulness in the emails. Understood. You still have lipstick on your tooth. Click. She runs her tongue over her teeth. Nothing. He just wanted to provoke her. Sophia smiles. She reorganizes the schedule, breathes, and then her phone buzzes in her pocket. Urgent client insists on speaking with Ethan now. Crisis. She looks at the closed door, at the clock showing 9:31, and thinks, temporarily is just another word for until I prove otherwise. Sophia arrives 15 minutes early on her second day, a victory. But Grace, the receptionist, a silver-haired lady with a conspiratorial smile, interrupts her silent celebration. Sweetheart, you need to know a few things. They sneak into the break room corner. Grace opens a folder as if revealing top-secret documents. List of former secretaries. 15 days. 22. Emily. 3 and 12 weeks. Record holder. Jessica lasted exactly 7 days. Claire didn't make it through the first day. What happened with Claire? She cried in the bathroom after he asked if she knew how to tell time. Sophia swallows hard. Is there a pattern? Yes. He doesn't yell or insult. He just ignores you until you disappear. Like ice melting a person away, poetic and terrifying. And there's more. Grace lowers her voice. No one here speaks to him unless it's strictly professional. He arrives at 7, leaves at 9 at night, never has lunch with anyone, doesn't go to happy hours. One time, Emily tried to wish him happy birthday, and he asked if she had finished the reports. Was it his birthday? Hers? Sophia closes her eyes, breathes, opens them. Grace, I need to survive 2 days. What's your #1 tip? Selective invisibility. Be helpful, but don't exist. Interesting contradiction. The clock strikes 8:45. Sophia rushes to her desk. Ethan is already inside, his silhouette stiff against the window. She turns on the computer, arranges pens by color because nervous energy needs somewhere to go, and waits. The phone rings. Mr. Caldwell's desk. When speaking, are you new? A man's voice, rushed. Second day on the job, sir. Great. I need to speak to Ethan. It's urgent. I'm Nathan Brooks, from Brooks Holdings. Sophia writes down the name. Sounds important. I'll check if he can take your call. No need to check. He always can. Sophia hesitates. Grace said not to bother Ethan unless absolutely necessary, but the man insists it's urgent. She decides to play it safe and transfers the call. 3 seconds later, Ethan opens the door. Bennett. Yes. Brooks Holdings doesn't exist. It was spam. Always check before transferring. Sorry. He's already closed the door. Sophia writes down, Google is your friend. An hour later, a new test. The phone rings. Mr. Caldwell's desk. Hello. I'm here to deliver the new desk for Office 4B. Sophia looks around. No one ordered a new desk, but the man is downstairs in the lobby sweating, carrying something heavy. One moment. She goes downstairs and finds an older man in overalls standing beside a beautiful mahogany desk. Are you sure this is the right address? Of course. Ethan Caldwell, 24th floor, Office 4, B. But this is 24 amperes. Must be a mix-up. Can you sign for it? My back can't take this anymore. Sophia looks at the desk. It's beautiful, expensive, and the man seems honest. She signs. 20 minutes later, Ethan steps out of his office. Why is there a mahogany desk in my reception area? A delivery guy came. Said it was for you. I didn't order any desk. Oh. They both look at the desk. Shiny, imposing, clearly expensive. Bennett, you signed for a desk I didn't order for a CEO who doesn't need furniture. It seemed legit. He was sweating too much for it to be a scam. Sweat isn't proof of honesty. Good line. Can I use that? Ethan closes his eyes, counts to 3, find out who it belongs to, and get it out of here. While Sophia calls every furniture company she can find, she hears Ethan on the phone inside his office. Tense voice. Something about an expired contract, a fine, a legal issue. Curiosity may kill the cat. But Sophia has always been more of a dog. She walks toward the slightly open door. Ethan is speaking to someone about a poorly written clause that could cost millions. The lawyer on the other end suggests accepting the loss. No, There has to be a way out, Ethan says. Sophia, without thinking, knocks on the door. Excuse me, I'm busy. Is this about the Lawson and Partners contract? He covers the phone. How do you know about that contract? I overheard it, but I've read similar contracts in my courses. Can I take a look? You didn't finish business school. No. But I did 2 years of corporate law before switching majors. Ethan hesitates, hangs up the phone, pulls up the contract on screen. Sophia steps closer, completely ignoring protocol, and sits in his chair. Ethan raises an eyebrow, but doesn't object. Here, she points. Clause 14b talks about extraordinary conditions, but look at 18c, and it creates an exception that cancels out 14b if documented external interference is proven. Do you have emails showing that Lawson changed the specifications after the contract was signed? Ethan opens the email folder. He searches through it, finds 3 problematic emails. This cancels the penalty, he murmurs, and you can still charge for the extra costs. Ethan looks at her differently, as if she had just solved a Rubik's Cube in 15 seconds. How did you spot that? Contracts are puzzles. I like puzzles. You just saved $2. 8 million. Really nice. Can I go back to my desk now? I still need to find out where that mahogany desk belongs. Ethan stays silent for 5 seconds. Sophia realizes she's sitting in his chair in his personal space, going through his confidential documents. Sorry. I invaded your space and your chair, which is very comfortable, by the way. Bennett, I'm getting fired, aren't I? Probably. Sophia sighs, gets up, and walks toward the door. Bennett, she turns around. Good job. For the rest of the day, Sophia solves the mystery of the desk. It was meant for Office 4D, not 4B. Organizes meetings and answers calls without any more confusion. But she can't stop thinking about the way Ethan looked at her when she solved the contract issue. At 6:0 the evening, as she tidies up her desk, she writes in her notebook, Survival Plan Day 2. Apparently, breaking rules can save millions. Who would have guessed? She looks at his closed door, still with the light on. He said, good job. In iceberg language, that's practically a hug. Sophia grabs her bag, waves to Grace, and leaves. Unaware that Ethan is watching her from the window, intrigued for the first time in years by someone who didn't follow any protocols and still got everything right. 3rd day, Sophia decides to be proactive. If Ethan starts work at 7 a.m., he probably needs caffeine. Kind gesture. Survival points. Simple strategy. She stops at the lobby cafe and orders the most popular coffee. Large with milk, 2 sugars, and a touch of cinnamon. The barista smiles. Who's this special one for? My boss. Just trying not to get fired. Good luck. That coffee wins over anyone. Sophia heads upstairs in high spirits, holding the cup like a trophy. Ethan is already in his office reviewing spreadsheets. She knocks on the door. Good morning, Mr. Caldwell. I brought you some coffee. He looks up, sees the cup. His expression changes. What is that? Coffee large with milk, sugar, and cinnamon. The barista said it's a customer favorite. I don't drink coffee with milk. Oh, sorry. Do you prefer it without milk? I don't drink coffee with sugar. Got it. No sugar either. I don't drink coffee with cinnamon. Sophia blinks 3 times. So, black coffee. I don't drink coffee. Silence. Sophia looks at the cup as if it had just betrayed a national secret. Sir, everyone drinks coffee. It's an unspoken office rule. I drink green tea. No sugar, no milk, no cinnamon, no creativity. Why didn't you say that yesterday? Because you didn't ask yesterday. Sophia feels her blood pressure rise. She breathes, counts to 3, fails. You know what? You seem like a robot. Someone stuck in a suit and forgot to install the kindness software. The room freezes. Ethan stands slowly. Interesting comparison. Thank you. I try. Robots are efficient. They're never late. They don't sit in someone else's chair. And they don't bring unsolicited beverages based on unspoken rules. Robots also don't save $2. 8 million contracts by accident. That's the point. Robots don't do anything by accident. Sophia places the cup on his desk with a bit more force than needed. Then feel free to program my replacement. I'm sure there's a robot assistant out there who makes green tea and never ever shows initiative. Maybe I will. Great. I'll start drafting my resignation letter on recycled paper because robots care about sustainability. Sophia leaves, shutting the door, not quite slamming, more like firmly closing with emphasis. In the hallway, at least 6 people pretend to work while clearly listening in. Grace appears out of nowhere. Sweetheart, everyone heard. Everyone? The whole office. Someone accidentally turned on speakerphone on the accounting line. Sophia covers her face. I'm fired, aren't I? Well, no one's ever called him a robot to his face. That was bold and kind of suicidal. Perfect combo for my resume. Head desk phone rings. Sophia answers in a funeral voice. Mr. Caldwell's desk. Sophia speaking. Sophia, this is Laura Evans from Evans Consulting. I need to speak with Ethan urgently. We have a strategic decision to make by 2 p.m. today. Let me check the schedule. Sophia looks. A meeting at 2, but no details. Mr. Caldwell is in a meeting. May I help you? It's about the Seattle project. We have 2 proposals on the table. Ethan needs to choose by 3 p.m. or we'll miss the deadline. Sophia recognizes that name. She saw it in the emails yesterday. Expansion project. Important. Laura, can I ask a question? Are the proposals about location or market entry strategy? Location. Downtown versus the suburbs. Sophia remembers something she read in the newspaper yesterday. Seattle's new subway construction. The new line will go right through downtown. Laura is one of the proposals in the financial district. Yes. How do you know? Just a hunch. Look, I can't speak for Mr. Caldwell, but I read that Seattle is expanding the subway system. The new line will connect the airport to downtown by 2026. That could affect foot traffic. Wow, we didn't know that. Are you sure? I saw it in the Seattle Times yesterday. You can check. I'll check right now. If that's true, it changes everything. Thank you, Sophia. You're welcome. She hangs up and notices Ethan standing at the door watching. How long have you been there? Since just a hunch. Oh, Evans Consulting. Yes. About Seattle. She said you need to make a decision by 3 p.m. And what did you suggest? Just mentioned the new subway. I read about it in the paper yesterday. Ethan walks over to her desk. Sophia prepares her farewell speech. Which paper? Seattle Times. I was bored last night and read about public transportation expansion. It seemed relevant. Do you read local papers from cities where we have projects? No, I read papers from cities that seem interesting. Seattle seemed interesting. Ethan picks up her phone and calls Laura, confirms the subway information. Thanks her. Hangs up. That subway info is worth $400,000 in strategic decisions. Nice. You saved the project. It was just luck. 2 times in 3 days isn't luck. Sophia doesn't know what to say. Ethan just stands there as if trying to solve a complicated equation. Bennett, am I getting fired now? Probably. Because of the robot comment or the Seattle situation, because of the coffee, Sophia frowns. I hate coffee. He continues. But you tried to be kind. That's unusual around here. Unusual good or unusual bad? Unusual unpredictable. Robots hate unpredictability. I'm not a robot. Prove it. Ethan almost smiles. Almost. Have green tea with me tomorrow. No sugar. Is that an order? It's an invitation. Sophia blinks. Robots don't make invitations. Exactly. For the rest of the day, the office buzzes. Sophia argued with Ethan. Ethan invited Sophia for tea. No one understands anything, but everyone agrees. She broke the pattern. At her desk, Sophia writes, Day 3, apparently, calling your boss a robot can lead to a tea invitation. Chicago is a strange city. She looks at his closed door and whispers, Maybe robots can learn, too. You have to go to the party, Lena announces. On Friday, like she's delivering bad news. What party? The company's annual party. Saturday night, Palmer House Hotel. Attendance is mandatory. Sophia looks at Ethan through the glass door. He's on the phone. Serious as always. Is he going? Of course, he's the boss. And I have to go because you're an employee. Temporary, but still an employee. Sophia sighs. Corporate party means expensive clothes, important people, and multiple chances for public embarrassment. Is there a dress code? Smart casual. That's as specific as somewhat tall. On Saturday, Sophia walks into a downtown dress rental store. A saleswoman named Maria, with eyes that have seen it all, sizes her up. First office party. How did you know? The panic in your eyes. What's your budget? Cheap, but not cheap looking. Maria disappears into the back and returns with 3 options. A basic black, a conservative navy blue, and a red dress that seems to have a personality of its own. The red one's bold. Maria warns, bold. How, as in everyone will notice you? Sophia thinks, Ethan's already noticed her for the wrong reasons. Maybe it's time to be noticed for the right one. I'll take the red one. 2 hours later, Sophia looks at herself in the bedroom mirror. The red dress is beautiful, but definitely not smart casual. It's more like, look at me, I have confidence. The problem is, she doesn't. The Palmer house is far too elegant for someone who still rides the subway. Sophia arrives and immediately realizes she miscalculated. All the women are in neutral tones. She looks like a traffic light in an art museum. At the ballroom entrance, she takes a deep breath and walks toward the bar. 3 steps in, her right heel catches on the door's edge. Sophia stumbles, grabs a curtain to steady herself, and nearly spills an entire tray of martinis on Ethan, who was talking with a group of investors. Dead silence. Ethan now has droplets of martini on his suit and olive on his shoulder. The investors stare at her like she's a natural disaster. I'm sorry, Sophia whispers, trying to wipe his shoulder with a napkin. Ethan looks at her. The red dress, her wind-tossed hair, the expression of someone who wants to crawl under the floor. Are you all right? He asks. Not you ruined my meeting. Or why are you even here? Just are you all right? I'm fine. Your suit isn't. I have others. An investor clears his throat. Ethan, can we continue our conversation later? Of course. The group disperses. Sophia is left alone with Ethan in the middle of the room, feeling as if she just accidentally destroyed something important. Your dress is striking. He says, it's rented, and apparently inappropriate. It's not inappropriate. It's different. That's a polite way of saying it looks like a costume. A costume of what? Someone who knows how to dress for elegant parties. Ethan almost smiles. Would you like a drink? No tripping this time. They walk over to the bar. Ethan orders sparkling water. Sophia orders the same because after the coffee incident, she doesn't want to take any more chances. Don't drink alcohol? She asks. Not at work events and at events that aren't work. I don't have events that aren't work. Sophia looks at him. Perfect suit. Perfect posture. But something in his eyes seems tired. Isn't that kind of lonely? Loneliness is subjective. That's a very diplomatic answer. I'm a CEO. Diplomacy is required, even with me. Ethan hesitates, especially with you. Why? Because you ask questions no one else asks. They step away from the main crowd and find a quiet corner near a grand piano. The background music is soft but generic. Do you play? Sophia asks, nodding to the piano. I used to. Why did you stop? I grew up. Music isn't just for kids. My mother thought it was. Said piano was a hobby, not a career. And you agreed. I was 12. I agreed with everything. Sophia walks over to the piano and presses a key. I'll bet you miss it sometimes. Like now? Yes. Why? Because you're asking. Sophia smiles. For the first time, Ethan seems truly human. Can you teach me a song here? Why not? Because we're at a corporate party surrounded by important clients. So what? And because I haven't played in 15 years, even better. No expectations. Ethan looks around. No one is paying attention. He sits at the piano bench. Sophia sits beside him. Place your hands here, he says, guiding her fingers to the keys. Press lightly, just with your fingertips. Sophia tries. The sound comes out louder than expected. Gently, he says, covering her hand with his to show her. His hand is warm, steady. Sophia completely loses her focus. Like this, she whispers. Perfect. They play a simple melody together. Nothing fancy, but pretty intimate. What's your favorite song? Sophia asks. I don't have one. Everyone has one. I'm not everyone. That's obvious. What's yours? Anything that helps me forget how bad I am at formal parties. Ethan looks at her, the red dress against her fair skin, eyes shining with a mix of nerves and bravery. You're not bad. You're just authentic. Is authentic code for clumsy? Authentic is code for interesting. Before Sophia can process the compliment, Tom from accounting appears, clearly drunk, clearly with intentions. Sophia, what a beautiful dress. He steps too close. Want to dance? Thank you. But I'm in the middle of a conversation. Talking is boring. Dancing is fun. Tom tries to grab her hand. Sophia pulls back. Tom, you've had too much to drink. I've had just enough, he insists, trying to kiss her. Ethan stands up with impressive speed. Tom. Hey boss, didn't see you there. You see me now. Go home. Relax, man. I just wanted to dance with your secretary. She doesn't want to dance. How do you know? Because she said no. Tom looks between Ethan and Sophia, slowly putting things together. Oh, I get it. She's your employee. Ethan finishes with a cold tone. And you're being inappropriate. All right. No problem. Tom walks away, but not before muttering something about a protective boss loud enough for Sophia to hear. Thank you, she says once they're alone. No need to thank me. I think I do. You didn't have to step in. I did. You did. Ethan looks her in the eyes. You're my responsibility as an employee, as a person. The moment hangs in the air between them. Sophia feels something shift. Ethan realizes he said more than he meant to. I should go, she says. Sophia. Yes, the red dress was a good choice. In the cab ride home, Sophia makes a mental note. Party night. Discovered robots can play piano, protect people, and maybe aren't so robotic after all. She touches the hand he held and smiles. Monday morning, Sophia arrives at the office and finds Ethan standing at the window, staring at Chicago like the city had done something personal to him. Good morning, Mr. Caldwell. Everything all right? My mother is coming for lunch today. Sophia waits for more information. Nothing comes. Is that good? It's catastrophic. Oh. Ethan turns around looking like he's about to make a very questionable decision. Bennett, I need to ask you a strange question. Strange like, do you know how to do origami? Or strange like, do you need to hide a body? Strange like, would you pretend to be my girlfriend? Sophia chokes on her own breath. Excuse me, my mother has been trying to set me up with the daughter of one of her friends for 6 months. Valerie Reed, always to something important. If I don't show up with someone today, she's going to schedule a dinner. And why me? Because you're here. And because I need someone my mother would never imagine I'd date. That was almost a compliment. Will you do it? Sophia crosses her arms. What do I get out of this? Pizza for lunch. Pizza is a cheap bribe for a fake CEO girlfriend and a 15% raise in, now you're speaking my language. Ethan looks relieved. There are rules. Nothing too intimate. Just act like you like me. That's going to take some serious acting skills. Very funny. Can I ask personal questions to make it believable? Within reason. Can I talk about your flaws? You'll do it even if I say no. True. At 12:30, Ethan's mother arrives. Beatrice Caldwell is a 60-year-old woman who looks like she stepped out of a home design magazine. Flawless, intimidating, and with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Nathaniel, dear, she says, kissing the air near his cheek. Mom, this is Sophia Bennett, my girlfriend. Beatrice looks Sophia up and down like she's inspecting a questionable purchase. Enchanted, she says in a tone that's anything but, pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Caldwell. Sophia replies, shaking her hand a little too firmly. Where did you two meet? Sophia looks at Ethan, who clearly forgot to make up that part. At the office, Sophia improvises. I was late. He was grumpy. It was love at first sight. Ethan coughs. How romantic. Beatrice comments with enough sarcasm to freeze Lake Michigan. They go to a very expensive French restaurant Sophia has never stepped foot in, the kind of place where waiters judge your soul by your order. So Sophia. Beatrice starts after ordering wine that costs more than Sophia's rent. Tell me about your family. My parents live in Ohio. My dad's a mechanic. My mom works at a library. Simple people, but happy. How quaint. Sophia realizes that quaint is code for beneath me. And where did you study? Ohio State. I didn't finish because I ran out of money, but I learned enough to work. Beatrice nearly chokes on her wine. You don't have a college degree? I have a high school diploma and several online courses. It's worked fine so far. Ethan kicks Sophia under the table. She kicks back. And what are your hobbies? Beatrice continues. I read a lot. I like cooking, though I'm terrible at it. I watch true crime documentaries and I collect plants that manage to survive in my apartment. Interesting. The waiter arrives to take their orders. Beatrice asks for something in French. Ethan orders salmon. Sophia looks at the menu and realizes she doesn't understand half the words. I'll have... She points to a random item. This one? The foie gras? The waiter asks if it's food. Yes. Beatrice closes her eyes like she's in actual pain. During lunch, Beatrice bombards Sophia with questions about career plans, financial goals, and long-term outlook. Sophia answers with brutal honesty that clearly horrifies the woman. My career plan is not to get fired this week, Sophia says. Financial goal is paying rent and affording pizza in the same week. Long-term outlook is figuring out if your son will stay an emotional iceberg or eventually thaw. Ethan chokes on his water. Sophia. He tries to step in. What? She asks. Beatrice goes quiet for 20 seconds. Then, you really say everything you think? don't you? It's a flaw. I know. Actually, it's refreshing. Nathaniel always dated women who told me what I wanted to hear. While I'm terrible at saying what people want to hear, ask your son. Beatrice looks at Ethan. Is that true? Completely, he confirms. And you like her anyway? Ethan looks at Sophia for a moment. He forgets they're pretending, especially because of that. Beatrice tilts her head, curious. How long have you two been together? Sophia panics. They hadn't agreed on that part. About 3 weeks. She guesses. 6. Ethan corrects. Right. 6. I'm terrible with dates, and terrible at lying. Beatrice observes. Sophia gulps. Excuse me, dear. My son hasn't dated anyone in 2 years. Suddenly, he shows up with a girlfriend he clearly didn't coach for this performance. You're faking it. Ethan turns pale. Mom, relax. Nathaniel, I approve. You approve? She's authentic, brave, and clearly not after your money, because if she were, she'd have lived out French wines before coming here. Sophia's not sure if that was a compliment or an insult. So, you're not going to schedule dinner with Valerie? I will, Beatrice says, but not for you. For Peterson's son, Valerie deserves someone boring. On the way back to the office, Sophia and Ethan walk in silence until she asks, Is she always like that? That was her being polite. Wow. Thanks for not running away when she asked about your degree. Thanks for not letting me die alone when she found out we were faking it. How did she figure it out? Mother's instinct, I guess. Or maybe you're a terrible actor. Probably both. In the elevator, Sophia says, Ethan? Yes, when you said you like me, especially because I speak the truth. Were you faking that too? Ethan looks at her for a moment. The elevator feels smaller. No. Oh. What? Nothing? Just, oh. The doors open on his floor. Ethan steps out but turns back before they close. Sophia. Yes. You were perfect today as a fake girlfriend. As a real person. The doors close, leaving Sophia alone, smiling like a fool, and thinking that pretending to date Ethan Caldwell might be the most dangerous thing she's ever done, because it's starting to feel less like pretending. Thursday morning. Sophia is organizing files when she hears Ethan on the phone, clearly frustrated. No, Nathan. The campaign isn't working. The numbers are dropping fast. She peeks through the slightly open door. Ethan is pacing, hair slightly messy, a sign the problem is serious. 3 different agencies. 3 identical proposals. Timeless elegance. Superior quality. Family tradition. It's all the same. Sophia knows the client. Ashford Watches, a century-old Swiss watch company, losing ground to smart watches. No, I'm not canceling the contract. Ethan continues. But we need something different. Something that actually works. He hangs up and rubs his temples. Sophia knocks on the door. Can I help? Unless you've got a revolutionary idea for selling expensive watches to a generation that uses phones to check the time. No, actually. Sophia pauses. Never mind. What were you going to say? Nothing important, Bennett. It's just that the problem isn't the watch. It's the approach. Ethan sat down. Explain. Everyone's trying to convince people that expensive watches are necessary. But they're not. They're luxury. And luxury today is different. Different how? It used to be about showing you had money. Now it's about showing you have personality. Ethan raises an eyebrow. Go on. Ashford should embrace the fact that watches aren't necessary. Make that a strength. That doesn't make sense. It does. Like, yes, your phone tells time, but your watch tells who you are. Or why a watch when you have tech? For the same reason you have art on the wall. Ethan watches her more and more interested. You're suggesting anti-marketing marketing. I'm suggesting honesty. People are tired of fake ads. They want brands that admit reality. And what would the campaign look like? Sophia takes a deep breath. She's about to suggest something completely crazy. Memes. Memes. Honest memes. Like a photo of someone checking their phone with the caption, "When you have 1,000 watches, but still check your phone for the time." And below, Ashford, because logic is overrated. Ethan blinks 3 times. You want me to suggest a meme campaign to a 200-year-old client? I want you to suggest a campaign that works. Before Ethan can answer, the door opens. Nathan Brooks, Ashford's director, walks in with 2 executives. Ethan, sorry we're late. Can we begin? Of course, Ethan says, giving Sophia a warning look. She should leave. She should go back to her desk. She should do anything except what she does next. Mr. Brooks, she says, may I ask a quick question? Nathan looks at Ethan. puzzled. "This is Sophia, my assistant." Ethan explains, clearly nervous. "Of course, Sophia. What's your question?" "Do you wear a smartwatch?" "I do. And yet you bought an Ashford last year." Nathan looks surprised. "How do you know that?" "I looked it up." "Why did you buy it?" "Well, my father wore Ashford. It's a family tradition." "Exactly. You didn't buy a watch. You bought a story." Ethan gestures subtly for Sophia to stop. She completely ignores him. The question is, how do you sell a story to people who don't have that family tradition? Good question, Nathan. The agencies didn't answer that because they're trying to convince people they need watches. But no one does. You should embrace that. How so? Sophia walks over to Ethan's desk, picks up a pen, and starts sketching on the back of an envelope. Picture this campaign. A photo of a guy on the subway. Everyone's looking at their phones except him. He's checking his watch. Caption: "While everyone lives in the future, some prefer to live with style." Nathan leans in to see the sketch. "Go on." "Or this one. Your phone D's. Your watch doesn't. Ashford, for when you want to be free from the outlet." The executives exchange interested glances. The idea is to stop competing with technology and start competing with personality. Sophia continues, "Ashford isn't about time. It's about choice. About being different when everyone else is the same." "That's interesting," Nathan says. Excited. Sophia continues, "And on social media, you post honest memes like, 'Spent 3 months' salary on a watch that does the same thing as my free phone. No regrets.'" Ashford logic. Nathan bursts out laughing. "Brilliant. It's self-aware but classy." "Exactly. People will share it because it's funny and honest, and they'll buy it because they relate to it." Nathan looks at Ethan. "Your assistant is brilliant." Ethan looks like he just swallowed a whole lemon. "She has creative ideas. We want this campaign." Nathan decides, "When can we see the full proposal?" "1 week." Ethan replies automatically. "Perfect." After the client leaves, Ethan closes the door and turns to Sophia. "You just pitched an unauthorized campaign to a $10 million client, and he loved it. That's not the point." "What is the point?" "The point is, you can't just pitch strategies in front of important clients." "Why not if it works?" "Because Ethan stops without a solid argument." "Because you didn't think of it first?" "No." "Because it breaks protocol?" "Also?" "No." "Then why?" Ethan sighs. "Because now I'll have to promote you, and the whole office will gossip." Sophia blinks. "Promote me to strategic assistant with your own office and a raise." "Seriously? Nathan loved your ideas. If I don't promote you, he'll try to hire you, and you don't want to lose me." Ethan hesitates for a long second. The company can't afford to lose talent. The company? The company? By late afternoon, the news of Sophia's promotion has spread throughout the office. On Slack, messages flood in. Secretary becomes strategist in 2 weeks. She must have dirt on Caldwell or real talent. Talent? She was late her first day. At her new desk in a small office with a window, Sophia writes, "Week 3. Found out that talking too much can lead to a promotion. Chicago keeps surprising me." She looks out the window and sees Ethan in his office on the phone, probably arranging the campaign she came up with on a whim. He still denies she has talent, but he already can't work without her crazy ideas, and Sophia's starting to realize that might be dangerous for both of them. Friday 9 p.m. The office is empty except for Sophia and Ethan finalizing the Ashford campaign. Sophia's in her new office surrounded by drafts and empty coffee cups. Ethan is in his office doing the same. "Bennett." His voice echoes down the hall. "Can you come here?" Sophia walks into his office and finds Ethan leaning on the desk looking like he's fighting something invisible. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." He lies, clearly not fine. "You look pale." "It's the fluorescent lights." "Ethan, it's 10. The only light here is from the lamp." He tries to straighten up and wobbles slightly. "I need to finish the financial review. You need to go home. I need to work. You need a doctor." "I don't need anything." He insists, grabbing a folder. The folder slips from his hands. "Maybe I need to sit down." Sophia steps closer and touches his forehead. "It's burning. You have a fever." "I'm functional." "You're delirious. Come with me." "Where to?" "The break room. Now. I don't have time to rest." "Ethan, you've been talking to an empty folder for 5 minutes." He looks at the folder. It's really empty. That explains why the numbers didn't make sense. Sophia grabs his arm and guides him to the small break room at the end of the hallway. There's a couch, a coffee table, and a mini fridge. No one's used in years. "Sit," she orders. "I'm not a dog." "You're acting like one." "Sit." Ethan obeys, mostly because his legs aren't working well. Sophia disappears and returns with a glass of water and 2 ibuprofen she found in the reception drawer. Take these. I don't take random pills. It's ibuprofen, not experimental drugs. Take them. He swallows the pills because arguing would take energy he doesn't have. Now lie down. I'm not lying on the office couch. Ethan, you have a high fever. It's 10 at night and it's just the 2 of us here. Your options are to lie down on the couch or pass out on the floor. Choose. He thinks it over and chooses the couch. Sophia disappears again and comes back with a wet towel. What are you doing? Taking care of you. Virus-infected robot. I'm not a robot. Robots also deny they're robots, she says, placing the towel on his forehead. Ethan closes his eyes. The towel is cold, but it feels good. You don't have to stay, he murmurs. Of course, I do. You could faint and hit your head. I don't faint. Everyone can faint. It's a basic body function. I don't have basic body functions. That explains a lot. Sophia sits in the chair next to the couch. Ethan looks smaller lying down, less intimidating, and most vulnerable. When was the last time you were sick? She asks. I don't remember. Everyone remembers the last time they were sick. I don't get sick. Clearly a faulty theory. Ethan opens his eyes and looks at her. Why are you being kind? Because you're in pain. I don't suffer. Ethan, you have a fever and you're delirious. Stop pretending you're superhuman. Silence. Then my mother never took care of me when I was sick. Sophia raises an eyebrow. Feverish Ethan is apparently honest. Ethan, why not? She said illness was a lack of discipline. If I got sick, it was because I wasn't taking proper care of myself. That's awful. It's practical. I learned not to rely on anyone, or you learned never to admit when you need help. Ethan closes his eyes again. When I was 8, I broke my arm falling off my bike. I didn't tell her until dinner because I knew she'd say it was my fault. And did she? She said I should have been more careful. Sophia feels a tightness in her chest. Ethan, at boarding school, when I got sick, I went to the infirmary alone. They never called home. It was better that way. How old were you? 12 when I went, 16 when I left. You spent your entire teenage years away from home. Home wasn't a place I wanted to be. The fever is lowering all his defenses. Sophia realizes she's seeing a side of Ethan no one else probably has. Is that why you don't like depending on people? Dependence is vulnerability. Vulnerability is weakness. Who taught you that? Life? Sophia wets the towel again and places it back on his forehead. Life was wrong. It wasn't. Look where independence got me. It got you to an office couch with a fever alone on a Friday night pretending you don't need anyone. Ethan opens his eyes. And yet you're here. I am. Why? Because everyone deserves someone to care for them when they're sick. Even virus-infected robots. Especially virus-infected robots. Ethan watches her in the dark. Her eyes are kind. Her hands are gentle. She's here when she doesn't have to be. Sophia. Yes. Thank you. You're welcome. He reaches out. She hesitates for a second, then intertwines her fingers with his. His hand is too warm from the fever, but steady. Your hand is small, he says. Your hands are big. They fit together. Sophia feels her heart race. It's dark. They're alone, and he's holding her hand like it's an anchor. Ethan. Yes. You're going to be okay. How do you know? Because I'm going to take care of you. He slowly sits up on the couch. They're very close. Sophia can feel the heat of the fever, can see his eyes shining in the dark. Sophia, he whispers. What? You're the first person who he stops. Who? What? Who stayed? The moment lingers between them. Ethan leans slightly forward. Sophia doesn't pull away. The distance narrows. They're just inches apart when Ethan abruptly stops. Ethan, you're being kind because I'm sick. This isn't real. How do you know? Because when I get better, I go back to being the cold boss, and you go back to being the employee who drives me crazy. And what if we don't go back? Ethan lets go of her hand and pulls away. We always go back. Sophia feels like she's been punched in the stomach. Maybe you're right, she says, standing up. Maybe dependence really is vulnerability. Sophia, I'll get more water. She leaves the room before he can say anything else. In the hallway, Sophia leans against the wall and takes a deep breath. For a moment, he had let all his walls down. For a moment, she saw who Ethan really was beneath all the armor. And then he put the armor back on, because in the end, robots with viruses are still robots, even when they desperately need someone to take care of them. Monday morning, Sophia arrives at the office and notices something is different. Conversations stop when she walks by. Strange looks follow her to her office. Grace shows up with a face like she's attending a funeral. Sweetheart, we need to talk. About what? The board wants to speak with you now. Sophia feels her stomach drop. The board? Why? Someone complained about your promotion. They say it was irregular. Irregular? How? As in she must be sleeping with the boss. Sophia closes her eyes. Who said that? Doesn't matter. What matters is they want answers. 15 minutes later, Sophia is in the conference room facing 5 men in suits and one stern-looking woman. Ethan is seated at the head of the table, completely expressionless. The chairman, Mr. Harrison, opens a folder. Miss Bennett, we're here to discuss some irregularities in your hiring and promotion. What kind of irregularities? You were hired without relevant experience, promoted within 3 weeks, and you seem to have unusual access to Mr. Caldwell. Sophia looks at Ethan. He avoids her gaze. My access to Mr. Caldwell is professional. Is it? Harrison consults some notes. You've been seen together at social events. There have been rumors of a personal relationship. We attended a company event. It was mandatory for employees, and the lunch with his mother. Sophia feels the blood drain from her face. Someone saw that was a specific situation. What kind of situation? Ethan remains silent. Sophia realizes he's not going to help her. A personal situation that doesn't affect my work. Miss Bennett, the woman on the board, Miss Lee, leans forward. Your ideas for Ashford were impressive, but some employees question whether you developed them on your own. Sophia feels like she's been slapped. Excuse me. It's possible Mr. Caldwell may have guided your contributions. Guided? Or that the ideas were his presented through you. Sophia looks around the table. They all seem convinced she's a fraud. You're suggesting I'm too incompetent to come up with ideas myself. We're suggesting your rise was unusually fast. Sophia turns to Ethan. Are you going to say anything? Ethan looks her in the eyes for the first time. The board has legitimate concerns about protocol. Sophia feels like the floor has dropped out from under her. Protocol. Promotion should follow established procedures. And the ideas, are you going to say they were mine? Ethan hesitates for 2 seconds too long. The ideas were developed collaboratively. Sophia stands so fast her chair nearly tips over. Collaboratively. Miss Bennett. Harrison tries to calm things. No one is questioning your contribution. No? Sophia cuts him off. You're questioning my competence, my integrity, and my ability, and my boss. She looks at Ethan. Is agreeing with you. Sophia. Ethan starts. No, I'm done. She turns to the board. You want to know if I earned the promotion? You want to know if the ideas were really mine? Here's your answer. It doesn't matter anymore. Sophia reaches into her bag and pulls out a piece of paper. This is my resignation letter. Effective immediately. She places the paper on the table. And for the record, the ideas were all mine. The Ashford campaign came out of a spontaneous conversation because your CEO was desperate. But apparently giving credit where it's due isn't part of this company's protocol. Harrison tries to step in. Miss Bennett, perhaps we can... You can't, Sophia says, grabbing her things. Good luck finding someone else who solves your problems while you question whether she deserves to exist. At the door, she turns one last time to Ethan. And you, she says, voice shaking with anger, I hope your precious protocols keep you warm at night. Sophia slams the door on her way out. In the hallway, the entire office pretends to work while she gathers her belongings. In 5 minutes, her drawers are empty. Grace appears, eyes filled with tears. Sweetheart. It's all right. Grace, it was just a matter of time. No, it wasn't. You're talented. Talent isn't enough when you're not the right kind of person. Sophia picks up the box with her things and walks toward the elevator. Half the office watches. The other half whispers. At reception, she stops and looks up at the floor above, where Ethan is probably still in the meeting. Goodbye, robot, she whispers. It was almost fun. The elevator doors close. Sophia is gone. Upstairs, Ethan wraps up the meeting in 5 minutes. The board is satisfied. Protocols have been preserved. Order has been restored. He returns to his office and sees Sophia's empty desk through the glass door. For some reason, the office feels smaller. Tuesday, Ethan arrives at 7. 0 inches the morning as always. But there's no one to organize his schedule. No one to screen his calls. No one to make sarcastic comments about his personality. He tries to work as usual. He lasts 2 hours. Grace, I need a new assistant. I'm already working on it, sir. I want candidates with a strong personality. Like Sophia. Not like Sophia. Just competent. Understood. On Wednesday, Ethan interviews 5 candidates, all perfectly qualified, all very polite, all completely unremarkable. Does the next candidate have experience with ad campaigns? He asks Grace. Yes, 15 years of experience, and personality. How do you define personality? Never mind. On Thursday, Ethan yells at 3 employees, cancels 2 meetings, and has a report redone 6 times. Tom from accounting comments in the elevator. He was more pleasant when Sophia was around. Sophia was the problem, was she? Because now he seems like an iceberg with a bad mood. On Friday, Ethan is in the conference room looking at resumes for potential assistants. All are impressive. All are qualified. All make him want to take a nap. Grace knocks on the door. Sir, the Ashford campaign launched today, and it's going viral. 3 million views in 6 hours. Ethan turns on his computer. The Ashford memes are everywhere. Ashford logic is trending. Online sales are up 40%. Nathan Brooks calls Ethan. The campaign is an absolute success. Your assistant is a genius. Former assistant. Former. Why? Internal matters. What kind of internal matters are worth more than that kind of talent? Ethan has no answer. After hanging up, he stays in the room alone, looking out at Chicago. Sophia saved 3 contracts, created a viral campaign, brought energy into a lifeless office, and he let the board destroy her because he didn't have the courage to stand up for her. Because admitting he needed her would mean admitting vulnerability, and robots aren't vulnerable. Except now he's starting to realize that maybe vulnerability isn't weakness. Maybe it's just honesty, and he just lost the only person who had the courage to be honest with him. Ethan picks up the phone to call Sophia, then hesitates, then puts it down because robots don't know how to say sorry. Not yet. Saturday morning, Ethan has been in the empty office for 3 hours pretending to work while actually Googling how to apologize to someone you've deeply hurt. The results are not encouraging. Grace shows up at 9. Apparently, she works Saturdays when her boss is having an existential crisis. Mr. Caldwell, what are you doing here? Working on what project? Ethan looks at the screen. It's open to a page titled, 5 Steps to a Sincere Apology. Market research. Grace comes closer and reads over his shoulder. 5 Steps to a Sincere Apology. Interesting market research. Ethan shuts the laptop. Grace, I need to find Sophia. What for? To resolve some unfinished matters. Unfinished matters. Or did you realize you made the biggest mistake of your professional life? Ethan looks at her. Both. She's at a charity event today. Oak Street Community Center. Something about rescued animals. How do you know that? Because unlike you, I stay in touch with people who leave the company for unfair reasons. An hour later, Ethan is standing in front of a flower shop, holding the most expensive bouquet they had and practicing his speech. Sophia, I was an idiot, he mutters to his car's rearview mirror. No, too casual. Sophia, I made a serious error in judgment. Better. He arrives at the community center and quickly realizes he's totally out of place. It's an outdoor event with families, kids running around, and lots of animals. Ethan, in a suit, holding a bouquet of red roses, looks like an alien who landed in the wrong location. Can I help you? A volunteer asks. I'm looking for Sophia Bennett. Oh, Sophia. She's out back in the rescued pig pen. Pigs? Pets? People abandon them when they realize they grow up. Ethan walks toward the back, rehearsing his speech. Sophia, we need to talk. He made a terrible mistake. He stops when he sees Sophia. She's sitting on the grass wearing jeans and a t-shirt, holding a small pink pig in her lap. Her hair is in a messy ponytail. Her hands are dirty, and she's laughing at something a child just said. She looks happy. Ethan walks closer as if approaching a startled animal. Sophia, she looks up, and her expression changes instantly. What are you doing here? Ethan glances at the pig. We need to talk. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. I brought flowers. Sophia looks at the bouquet like it's evidence in a crime scene. Flowers don't fix public humiliation. I know, but they're a start. The little pig chooses this moment to grunt loudly and try to jump off Sophia's lap. She holds him firmly. Easy, Bacon, she says to the pig. The pig's name is Bacon. Irony. He was rescued from a butcher shop. Ethan isn't sure how to process that information. Sophia, about what happened in the meeting. Stop, she interrupts, standing up while still holding Bacon. You had your chance to speak. You chose to stay silent. I was trying to protect. You were protecting yourself. Bacon grunts loudly again and struggles. Sophia tries to calm him, but he slips away. Grab him. she shouts. Ethan instinctively reaches out. Bacon flies straight into his arms. What happens next is like a line of dominoes falling. Ethan catches the pig, but Bacon doesn't like strangers. He squirms violently. Ethan stumbles backward, trying not to drop the animal. He steps on a garden hose. His foot slips. He falls backward into a pile of hay, still holding Bacon, who now squeals like he's being kidnapped. The bouquet flies through the air and lands on a nearby goat's head, which starts eating the roses. A 6-year-old is filming everything with their mom's phone. Mom, look, the man in a suit is fighting with Bacon. Ethan lies in the hay, Bacon sitting on his chest, looking at him suspiciously. Straw comes out of Ethan's mouth as he tries to speak. Sophia, he spits out. Hey, I can explain. Sophia folds her arms, trying not to laugh. Go ahead. Ethan slowly sits up. Bacon hops off his chest to look for food. I was a coward. Go on. In the meeting when they questioned you, I should have defended you. Yes, you should have. But I was afraid of what? Ethan pulls hay from his hair. Of admitting you're better at this than I thought. Of admitting I need you. Of admitting that. He pauses. Admitting what? That maybe I feel something for you that isn't professional. Sophia blinks. Something like what? Ethan stands up, still brushing hay off his clothes. Like admiration, respect, and other things I don't know how to name because I'm emotionally clueless. Other things. Sophia, when you left, I realized the office felt empty. Not just less efficient. Empty. Go on. I interviewed 15 candidates at all, perfect on paper. All made me want to hibernate. Sophia leans against the fence, waiting. Then I realized it wasn't just your skills I missed. It was you. Your sarcastic comments. The way you managed to annoy and impress me at the same time. Your courage to treat me like a human being, when everyone else just sees the boss. I want you back, he says, stepping closer to her. Not just as an employee. I want you on my team and in my life. What do you mean in my life? Like, I don't know. Like someone who calls me a robot when I deserve it. Someone who brings the wrong coffee and still saves deals. Someone who holds my hand when I'm sick and doesn't run away when I'm vulnerable. Sophia looks at him, hair messy from the hay, suit wrinkled, expression more sincere than she's ever seen. So, what exactly are you offering? A second chance for both of us. And the board? The board can adjust the rules. You'll return as an external consultant. Better pay, full autonomy, and no one questions your qualifications. And personally, Ethan hesitates. Personally, I'd like to know if you'd be willing to have dinner with me. A real one this time, not one staged for my mom. Sophia smiles for the first time since he arrived. One condition. What is it? You have to meet all the animals here, including Bacon. Ethan looks at the pig who's chewing one of his roses. Is that negotiable? No. Then I accept. Sophia holds out her hand. Welcome to my life, Ethan Caldwell. I hope you're ready for some chaos. He shakes her hand. With you, I always have been. Monday morning, Sophia returns to the office as an external consultant with a new desk, a new computer, and a contract that makes the accounting department jealous. Ethan welcomes her at the front desk like it's an official event. Welcome back, Bennett. Thank you for having me back, Caldwell. As a consultant, you have full freedom to disagree with me. I always did. Now it's just official. The whole office watches. Some look pleased, others confused. Tom, from accounting, whispers to someone. They're talking like polite robots. It's weird. The other person replies, I liked it better when they argued. 2 weeks later, Sophia and Ethan are working on the biggest campaign in the company's history. Lawson Industries wants a complete image overhaul, budget $5 million. Sophia is in Ethan's office, surrounded by papers, charts, and 3 empty coffee cups. The traditional approach won't work, she says. Lawson makes industrial products too boring to go viral. Not everything needs to go viral, Ethan says, looking over the numbers. Everything needs to be interesting. And screws are not interesting. Screws hold the world together. Terrible slogan. Ethan looks up. Do you have a better one? I have several. The problem is you'll hate all of them. Try anyway. Sophia takes a deep breath. Lawson, we make the things that make your things work. Tu voge. When you don't want things falling apart, use our products. Too blunt. Lawson, 50 years holding your life together. Ethan stops writing. That one's good. You sound surprised. I'm always surprised by you. In a good way or a bad way. Good. Definitely good. They work in silence for an hour. The tension in the room is strange. Not bad, but not purely professional either. Ethan, Sophia says suddenly. Yes. Why did you bring me back? Because you're good at what you do. That's it. Ethan stops writing. Why are you asking? Because sometimes you look at me like I don't know, like I'm more than just a consultant. You are more than a consultant. What do you mean? He hesitates. Hard to explain. Try. Ethan stands and walks to the window. You challenge me. Everyone here either agrees with me or is afraid to disagree. You disagree because you think I'm wrong. And that's a good thing. It's refreshing. Sophia stands too. Ethan, I need to know something. What? At the fundraiser when you said you wanted me in your life? What exactly did that mean? Ethan turns to her. It means that. He pauses. It means working with you. Feels different from working with anyone else. Different. How? Different. Like I look forward to you walking in each morning. Different. Like your crazy ideas make my day more interesting. Different. Like what? Like, I want to kiss you right now. Silence. Sophia blinks 3 times. You want to kiss me for weeks? Why didn't you say anything? Because I'm terrible with feelings that I already knew. They stare at each other. The space between them feels both huge and tiny. Sophia. Ethan whispers. Yes, may I? Instead of answering, Sophia steps closer. If you don't kiss me now, I'll assume you're a coward. Ethan doesn't need more encouragement. He pulls her close and kisses her. It's a kiss built on weeks of tension, gentle at first, then more intense. Sophia feels like she's been waiting for this without realizing it. When they pull apart, they look at each other like they've just discovered something important. That was Sophia starts, unexpected. Ethan finishes. Good unexpected or bad unexpected? Good, very good. Before they can process what just happened, the phone rings. Caldwell and Thorne. Ethan speaking. He answers, still looking at Sophia. His expression changes. When? I see. Yes. I understand the urgency. He hangs up. What is it? Sophia asks. Lawson Industries emergency meeting in 2 hours. The main investors are questioning our proposal. Are we going together? I can't go. Family emergency. My mom's in the hospital. Is she okay? Just a fall. Nothing serious. But I have to go. Then we reschedule. We can't. If we miss this meeting, we lose the contract. Sophia sees where this is going. You want me to go alone? You know the campaign better than I do. You came up with the approach. Ethan, this is $5 million and important investors. I trust you. How can you trust me? We just kissed and you're not even sure how you feel about that. I know exactly how I feel. How in love and confident you'll do great in that meeting. Sophia is speechless for a few seconds. Did you just say you're in love? I did. So, will you go present on your own? I will. But when you come back, we're talking about that statement. Deal. 3 hours later, Sophia is at Lawson Industries presenting to 8 executives and 4 investors. She's nervous but prepared. The presentation is flawless. She explains every concept, answers every question, and even makes the numbers sound interesting. Outside the room, Ethan watches through the window. He got back from the hospital 20 minutes ago and couldn't resist checking in. Sophia is shining, confident, smart, persuasive. She's no longer the clumsy assistant who arrived late. She's a skilled professional, closing the year's biggest deal. She's good, someone says behind him. Ethan turns. It's Nathan Brooks from Ashford. She is, Ethan agrees. She's exceptional. Are you going to marry her? How do you know that, man? You're looking at her like she's the 8th wonder of the world. Ethan smiles. Maybe she is. Then you better marry her soon. Women like that don't stay single for long. In the room, Sophia finishes the presentation. Applause, smiles, handshakes, deal closed. When she walks out, she finds Ethan in the hallway. How did it go? He asks, already knowing the answer. We closed it. $5 million. I knew you could do it. How did you know? Because you're amazing. And because I finally understood something. What? That I don't just need you as an employee or a consultant. I need you as a partner in everything. Sophia smiles. Everything. Including what? Including the life I want to build. That was almost an official declaration. It was an official declaration. Then kiss me again. Ethan doesn't need to be asked twice. Friday night, Sophia stands in front of the bathroom mirror, changing clothes for the 4th time. Ethan invited her to dinner for real. His exact words, the problem is, she doesn't know what for real means. Date. Business. Talk about the kiss. Talk about pretending the kiss never happened. She chooses the blue dress. Elegant, but not trying too hard. The restaurant Ethan chose is small and cozy with candles on every table. Definitely not a business meeting. Sophia arrives first and gets nervous while waiting. When Ethan shows up wearing a dress shirt without a tie, she realizes he's nervous, too. "Hi," he says, sitting down. "Hi." Silence. The waiter shows up. "Good evening. Would you like to see the wine list?" Sophia and Ethan look at each other. "Water is fine," Sophia says. "For me, too," Ethan agrees. The waiter writes it down, clearly confused about only serving water in such a fancy place. More silence. "This is a nice restaurant," Sophia says. "Yes. I read good reviews." "Oh, yeah." They study the menu like it's a legal document. "Everything looks good," Sophia says. "Very good. Hard to choose. Very hard." The waiter comes back, ready to order. Sophia says quickly, "Same." Ethan says, "Both want salmon?" "Yes, prepared the same way." Sophia and Ethan glance at each other, realizing they didn't even read how the salmon is cooked. Chef's surprise. Ethan improvises. The waiter takes note and walks away, probably questioning his life choices. "So," Sophia says. "So," Ethan repeats. "How's your mother?" "Fine." "It was just a scare. She slipped in the bathroom. Glad it wasn't serious." "Yeah, thank goodness." Silence again. Sophia takes a sip of water. Ethan does the same. They look like two people meeting for the first time. "Ethan," Sophia finally says. "Yes. Why are we acting like strangers?" "I don't know. We've known each other for months. Worked together every day. Yesterday you kissed me. I remember. So why does this feel like a high school first date?" Ethan smiles for the first time since arriving, because maybe it's our first real date. True. The salmon arrives. It looks beautiful, but neither of them seems hungry. "Sophia," Ethan says, pushing the food around with his fork. "Yes, I need to tell you something." "What?" "I don't know what I'm doing." Sophia laughs. "In what way?" "Every way. Work. I know. Business. I understand. But this." He points between them. "I have no idea." "This what?" "Whatever is happening between us." Sophia sets her fork down. "Ethan, can I ask you a direct question?" "Of course. What do you want from me?" Ethan stops fiddling with his food and looks her in the eye. Honestly, all of you?" Sophia frowns slightly. "What do you mean, all of me? No work contract between us. No ID badge, no office walls. Just you. And what would I do in your life without a contract badge or walls?" Ethan hesitates. "You'd be mine and I'd be yours." Sophia feels her heart race. "Ethan, are you saying that?" "I'm saying I fell in love with you completely and I don't know how to handle that because I've never fallen in love with anyone before." "Never?" "Not really. I've had girlfriends, but it was all convenient, safe. With you, it's different." "Different how?" "Different like I want to wake up next to you every day. Different like I want to hear your crazy ideas for the rest of my life. Different like I want to annoy you and be annoyed by you until we're old." Sophia stays silent for a long moment. "Ethan," she says finally. "Yes, I fell in love with you, too." Ethan stops breathing for 2 seconds. "Really? Really? But I'm scared of what? That you don't really know how to love? What do you mean?" Sophia chooses her words carefully. "You've spent your whole life protecting yourself, building walls, keeping people at a distance. How can I be sure you won't do the same to me?" Ethan takes it in. "You can't be sure." He finally says, "Thanks for the brutal honesty." But he continues, "I also can't be sure you won't give up on me when you see how complicated I really am." "True. Then maybe," Ethan says, leaning forward, "we can learn together." "Learn what?" "How to love someone without fear. How to trust without guarantees. How to be vulnerable without hiding." Sophia smiles. "That sounds scary." "It does. But it also feels right." "How do you know?" "Because for the first time in my life, I'm more afraid of losing someone than of getting hurt." Sophia reaches across the table. Ethan links his fingers with hers. "Then let's try," she says. "Even though I'm emotionally inexperienced, even though you're emotionally inexperienced, and even though you're unpredictable and stubborn, hey, I'm just determined and stubborn." "Okay, fine. And stubborn." Ethan smiles. "Sophia, yes, if we're doing this, I want to do it right." "What does that mean?" "It means that next time you want coffee in the morning, I'll make it for you, not the other way around. You don't even like coffee, but you do, and I like you." That was almost poetic. "Don't push it." Sophia laughs. "Ethan, yes, I think I'm going to enjoy teaching you about feelings. And I think I'm going to enjoy learning, even if I'm a tough teacher. Especially because of that, they finish dinner talking about everything and nothing. About plans, fears, dreams, and annoying habits. On the way out of the restaurant, Ethan pauses. Sophia. Yes. Can I take you home? You can. And can I give you a goodnight kiss at the door? You can. And can I call you tomorrow for no work-related reason? You can. In fact, you should. Deal. At her apartment door, Ethan keeps his promise. He kisses her slowly like there's all the time in the world. Ethan, Sophia whispers when they pull apart. Yes, I think we're going to make it. Make what? Learn to love without fear. I think so too, even if it takes time. Especially if it takes time. The best things take a while to become perfect. How do you know? You taught me that. Sophia smiles and goes inside, leaving Ethan standing in the hallway, smiling like a man in love, because that's exactly what he is. And for the first time in his life, he's completely happy being foolish. 1 year later, Sophia Bennett Caldwell, not officially yet, but she's been practicing the signature, is at her new desk in her new department with a sign on the door that says, Director of Creativity and Controlled Chaos. The sign was Ethan's idea. Sophia thought it was ridiculous. Ethan said it was accurate. Now she loves it. The office is buzzing because tonight is the company's annual gala, this time at the Drake Hotel, with the most important clients, the press, and an official speech by the CEO. Sophia is finishing the presentation of the year's results when Ethan appears at the door. Ready to see me embarrass the entire company? He asks. You can't be embarrassed. It's impossible. Want to bet? Always. Ethan is nervous. Sophia can tell because he's fiddling with the button on his jacket, a habit she's learned to recognize. Is everything okay? She asks. Perfectly fine. Ethan, you're sweating. I'm not sweating. I'm glowing. Men don't glow. Men sweat. Refined men glow. Sophia laughs and steps closer, fixing his tie. It's just a speech. You've done 1,000. Yeah, just a speech. But Ethan doesn't mention the small velvet box in his jacket pocket that he bought 3 months ago. And that's been weighing on his mind ever since. 2 hours later, the Drake is filled with important people dressed in formal wear. Sophia is at a table near the stage with Grace and other colleagues. Ethan is at the head table looking comfortable. But she knows the signs. He's nervous. The master of ceremonies steps onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Caldwell & Thorne, Ethan Caldwell. Applause. Ethan walks up, adjusts the microphone, and smiles at the audience. Good evening. Thank you for being here to celebrate another exceptional year at Caldwell & Thorne. Sophia settles into her chair. She loves watching Ethan speak in public. He looks confident, charming. This year has been special for many reasons. Ethan continues. We grew 40%. We closed record-breaking deals, and we learned that sometimes innovation comes from the most unexpected places. He looks directly at Sophia. A year ago, I hired someone who arrived late to her interview, sat in my chair without permission, and called me a robot with software problems. Laughter from the audience. Sophia covers her face, embarrassed. That person transformed our creative approach, saved deals that seemed lost, and taught me that sometimes the best strategy is to have no strategy at all. More laughter. Sophia is blushing. But more importantly, he continues, that person taught me something I didn't even know I needed to learn. He pauses and looks directly at Sophia in the audience. She taught me that work can be fun, that arguing can be productive, and that sometimes the right person for your life is exactly the one you never thought you'd want in your life. Sophia realizes where this is going and feels her heart stop. Ethan, she whispers. What are you doing, Sophia? Bennett, he says into the microphone. Would you come up here? No, please, Ethan. There are 300 people watching. I know. Come up here. Sophia stands up shaking. The audience applauds as she walks up to the stage, wishing the ground would just swallow her whole. Ethan, she whispers when they meet at the microphone. If you're doing what I think you're doing, I am in front of everyone. In front of everyone. Are you out of your mind? Completely. Ethan turns to the audience. Sophia, a year ago, you showed up in my life like a hurricane of organized chaos. You saved contracts, created brilliant campaigns, and made me laugh for the first time in years. Sophia is frozen. Ethan pulls a small box from his pocket, but more important than all of that, he continues, you made me realize that love isn't about finding someone perfect. It's about finding someone who makes your imperfections feel perfect. The audience murmurs. Sophia feels tears in her eyes. Ethan kneels down. The problem is, The stage has a slippery carpet, a carpet that's not made for a nervous CEO in a tight suit to kneel on. His right knee slips. He tries to steady himself, but the suit is too tight for acrobatic moves. He slides, grabs at the air, and ends up sitting on the floor with his legs stretched out and the box flying from his hand. The box rolls across the stage and stops at Sophia's feet. Total silence. Ethan, sitting like a kid at recess, looks at Sophia. That wasn't part of the rehearsal. He says into the still working mic. The audience bursts into laughter. Sophia picks up the box, sits beside him on the floor, and opens it. It's a beautiful, simple, perfect ring. Ethan Caldwell, she says, taking his microphone. Are you proposing to me while sitting on the floor? Apparently, yes. With 300 people watching, 312, I counted. And you think I'll say yes after a proposal this pathetic? Ethan smiles. I hope so. Sophia looks at the ring, at Ethan, at the crowd waiting. You know what? She says into the mic. This proposal fits us perfectly. How so? Clumsy, unexpected, and completely imperfect. Is that a yes? Ethan Caldwell. Of course. It's a yes. The audience erupts in applause and cheers. Ethan puts the ring on her finger right there on the stage, laughing like a fool. May I kiss my fiancé? He asks into the mic. You may, but stand up first. I can't. The suit's too tight. Sophia laughs and kisses him anyway, right there on the floor, while 312 people give them a standing ovation. 2 months later, the wedding takes place in the garden of the Palmer house, the same place where they really got to know each other at the corporate party. Sophia looks beautiful in a simple dress. Ethan looks sharp in a suit that allows movement. Sophia insisted on that. The officiant asks, Ethan, do you take Sophia as your wife to love and respect her in sickness and in health, in wealth and in poverty? I do. And I promise to make her coffee every day, even though I don't like coffee. Laughter. Sophia, do you take Ethan as your husband to love and respect him in sickness and in health, in wealth, and in poverty? I do. And I promise to keep calling him a robot when he deserves it. More laughter. You may kiss. They kiss while Bacon, the rescued pig, who's now the unofficial wedding mascot, squeals with joy in the back of the garden. At the reception, Ethan pulls Sophia onto the dance floor. Senora Caldwell, he whispers. Mr. Bennett Caldwell. She correct. You're not taking my last name. I am, but so are you. Now we're the Bennett Caldwells. Both of us both. It's more equal that way. And if someone asks why, we'll say love is about sharing everything, even last names. Ethan twirls Sophia on the dance floor. You know what's funny? He says, what? A year ago, if someone told me I'd marry my clumsy secretary, ex-clumsy secretary, I'd say it was impossible. And now I say it was inevitable. How do you know? Because you were exactly the chaos my life needed, and you were exactly the iceberg I needed to melt. They dance as the sun sets over Chicago, laughing, kissing, and proving that sometimes the best stories begin with the worst first impressions, and that even robots can learn to love, especially when they find someone willing to teach them.